Good morning. Nice to see you all here today. This is the Tuesday, November 1st meeting, of the Lancaster County Board of Commissioners. My name is Deb Shore, serving as chair this year. To my left is our Vice Chair, Christy Yoakum, and on the far end, Rick Vest, fellow Commissioners Rom Amundsen and Sean Flowerday. If you'd please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Mr. Clerk, if you'd begin the agenda, please.
A copy of the Nebraska Open Meetings Act is located on the wall at the rear of the hearing room. Additionally, all written material to be discussed at today's open meeting is available for electronic viewing from the county clerk's staff. Printing options are available upon request. The material can also be viewed on the county's website at lancaster.ne.gov. Agenda item 1 are minutes. Approval of the minutes of the Board of Commissioners meeting held on October 25th, 2022.
Move approval.
Second.
Motion is second to approve the minutes. Any comments or corrections? Seeing none, call the roll, please.
Vest,
Yes.
Amundsen,
Yes.
Yoakum,
Yes.
Flowerday,
Yes.
Shore.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0. Number 2 are claims. Approval of the claims process through November 1st, 2022.
Move approval of the claims?
Second?
Motion is second to approve the claims. Call the roll, please.
Flowerday,
Yes.
Vest,
Yes.
Amundsen,
Yes.
Yoakum,
Yes.
Shore.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0. Next is the claim including billing for goods and services beyond the 90-day time period in Nebraska Revised Statute 23-135. This is for Baylor, Evan, and Curtis, dated October 26, 2022, for a total of $2,030.50.
Move approval. Second.
Motion is second to approve the claim to Baylor Ebden. Call the roll.
Yoakum,
Yes.
Flowerday,
Yes.
Vest,
Yes.
Amundsen,
Yes.
Shore.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0. Next is approval of claim to the Clyde Malone Community Center in a total amount of $630.
Move approval. Second.
Motion is second. Call the roll, please.
Amundsen,
Yes.
Yoakum,
I'll abstain as my husband's on the board.
Flowerday,
Yes.
Vest,
Yes.
Shore.
Yes.
Motion carries four yes, one abstention. Next is approval of a claim to the Indian Center in the amount of $7,500.
Move approval?
Second.
Motion is second to approve the claim. Call the roll.
Vest,
Yes.
Amundsen,
Yes.
Yoakum,
Again, I will abstain as my husband serves on the board.
Flowerday,
Yes.
Shore.
Yes.
Motion carries 4 yes, 1 abstention. Next is number 3, special presentation in recognition and honor of the local first responders and everyday citizens who selflessly heeded the call to service on October 23rd, 2022.
Well, we do have many special guests here. Mr. David Saver, if you'd come forward to kind of kick us off. Mr. Clerk, if you would please read the proclamation.
Whereas on Sunday, October 23rd, 2022, multiple wildfires fueled by dry conditions, unseasonably high temperatures, and persistently strong winds spread throughout southern Lancaster County, burning across public and private property, damaging farms, homes, and structures, endangering animals, and threatening the lives of residents. Whereas public and private agencies from across Lancaster County and surrounding communities responded to the disaster, including dozens of fire departments, including more than 20 volunteer rural fire departments, the Lancaster County Sheriff's Office, the Nebraska State Patrol, the Lincoln Police Department, and the 911 Dispatch Center, Lincoln Lancaster County Emergency Management Department, staff, and dedicated volunteers, the Lancaster County Engineers Office, Lincoln Transportation and Utilities, and GIS Information Services, Lincoln Lancaster County Health Department, Lincoln Public Schools, the Lancaster Event Center, the Red Cross, Salvation Army, Culligan Water, and Farmers Co-op, and many other supporting agencies throughout the community, whereas everyday citizens in the affected areas rallied to respond to this unprecedented danger, including more than 100 local farmers who created fire breaks and cleared land in the path of the fire, And whereas the Lancaster County community's brave response to this natural disaster mitigated the loss of property and saved untold lives, now therefore the Board of County Commissioners of the County of Lancaster, Nebraska hereby issues this proclamation in recognition and honor of the local first responders and everyday citizens who selflessly heeded the call to service on October 23rd, 2022, and witness whereof we have signed on Tuesday, November 1st, 2022, and this is to the 5 county commissioners.
Jim David Saber, Director, Lincoln Lancaster County Emergency Management. It's my pleasure not only as the Director of Emergency Management, but as a Lancaster County resident to extend a sincere thanks to all those who participated in the effort on October 23rd. What I witnessed on Sunday, October 23rd, reinforced what I already knew. It was another example of what I've had the pleasure and the honor to experience during my 36-year public safety career with Lincoln and Lancaster County. Again, I want to thank everybody for their service on October 23rd, but not just for that event, but thank you for the service that you provide every day, every night, every weekend. Thank you for the time that you donate and the personal sacrifices you make to protect and serve our community. Your efforts ensure Nebraska will always be deserving of our state motto of the good life. So again, thanks to everybody who participated in it.
And I think as we'll have various groups recognized, so as we go through, Jim, if you'd have your team, your volunteers, I see a lot of familiar faces out there, if all of Jim's team that helped that day, if they would please stand and be recognized. Thank you. Mr. Wagner, our Sheriff, I know you had quite a team assisting that evening as well.
Well, I did. We had deputies did great work helping to block traffic and trying to assist the firefighters and the farmers who were really doing the yeoman's work down there fighting those fires. But, you know, from just staffing the emergency management, the emergency operations center, and coordinating those events that we needed to work on was really, just like Jim said, it really reinforced that everybody came together. Just from the list of agencies and folks on that proclamation, Lincoln Public Schools opening up their facilities for anybody that was displaced, and everybody else that was involved. It really was heart rendering to see all of the good work that people were doing. So I just really appreciate Deputy John Brady, one of our deputies, transported the injured firefighter from the scene of where he was at to get to an ambulance and get him closer to medical care. So everybody worked together to try to make this a successful event, and thankfully, the firefighters that worked so hard and so long, and the farmers that created those fire breaks saved a lot. They stopped the fires, and they I just can't say enough how much they did to really make it the damage as minimal as it was. Thank you.
Great. Well, we've got a couple sheriffs in the back, so again, if you were the sheriff's team assisting that night, thank you. Engineer Dingman, I know you also had a team assisting in a variety of ways on Sunday night.
Lancaster County Engineer Pam Dingman. On Sunday, the 23rd at 2:20, I first got a call from Bud Geislinger in our office stating that Southern Lancaster County had 2 large fires, followed by a call from Alex Olson, who serves as the assistant chief for Firth, who works out of our office. I then called Jim David Saver, time 2:24, 4 minutes, and stated that, Jim, we have a problem. And people are already calling me asking for mutual aid. We need to open up the EOC. I'm heading over there. What I think is important to note is that my department has been preparing for fires for the last 2 years, and we've been coordinating with our peer county engineers in California. Now, they have mountains and some different terrain than we have. However, they have fire problems. We have not experienced that yet. That is one of the reasons why we started last spring pulling the four slopes along the side of the roads, retrieving the gravel, and knocking down the vegetation along the side slopes. Now, I took a lot of grief for that, quite frankly, and I'll be honest, it didn't look necessarily as attractive as I would have liked, this rotting vegetation in the right-of-way. However, I do think it made a difference for this fire. One of the things that we did right away was we figured out where our semi and our tanker truck was, and we filled that tanker so that we were ready to rock and roll when aid was asked for with that tanker. Ron Bohati from our office, as well as Brandon Kramer, worked with that tanker all afternoon. That is a tanker that we bought from federal surplus for, I think, $7,500. And I'm going to say that that was a really good investment, retrofitting that piece of equipment so that we could offer aid. In addition, we worked to close roads in the areas. My people are still largely out in the field continuing to move debris. When you go out in this area, you really wrap your head around how much fuel is still left in the area, and you see these fires continuing to pop up day after day. So really quick, I want to thank members of my team that are not here today: Larry Husenfeld, Kyle Mollmeyer, Jamie Draper, Eric Hunt, Josh Basson, Curtis Perconi, Wayne Helgoth, Trevor, Terry Coldwater, Roger Husenfeld, Keith Tennelson, Rick DeBoer, and Justin Ether. So in addition, Ron Bohati, who is here today, and Ed Lawman also helped us out, and we ran incident command out of county engineering with Tracy Dragoo and John Berry. In addition, we added the GIS team, Chad Kendall and Andy, to help us with our GIS information to pinpoint where these fires were. All in all, more than 17 people from county engineering volunteered to work on Sunday afternoon, 13 pickup trucks, 1 semi, and a 7,500-gallon tanker aided in this event. And so I'll add that we're not firefighters at county engineering by any stretch of the imagination, but we are prepared to offer help and assistance whenever we can. And I'll offer a photo with Brandon Kramer and Alex Olson, and you can see our tanker, and it is aiding to fill one of the other tankers. Thank you.
Thank you. And county engineering team that's here representing those who aren't as well. So thank you. Please stand. And now, Mr. Densberger, if we'd take a moment for you, and I don't know if Phil and Tim or you're doing this solo, a moment to recognize the real stars, the real heroes. Everyone played a part, but you're
Looking for Ryan, what I'm looking
for. You can bring up anyone you want.
Right, draft them all.
Draft them all. So.
Oops, I better stand up here.
Yeah, there's
Okay.
one, there's one
There's one,
coming,
okay.
sir.
There we go. Thank you, sir. I was trying to hide. I know. I was looking for you, and you didn't see you. This is Ryan Skillett, chief at Hallam Fire. You know what? I'll just give it to you for a while. You got a couple minutes to burn.
Well, we got 2 mics, so you can both talk. Scoot. There you go.
Share.
Prepare a speech or nothing.
Well, we don't need a speech. We just want to hear you speak from your heart.
I guess first and foremost, I got to thank our mutual aid departments and also emergency management, and obviously our farmers. We couldn't have done. It's been hit nonstop throughout the last couple weeks. We could not have stopped this thing without everybody. So it's not one department. It's not one man. It's all of us it took to do it. There's not one star of the show, in my opinion. So. I give everybody credit here for doing what they had to do. So that day was an eye-opener for me. Being the newly named chief of Hallam, it was something to take in and try to get my feet wet, if you could say. But once we got settled in, I was comfortable with the way everybody handled their situations and their departments, and we all worked together really well. So I can't thank everybody enough. So
Nice, nice. Jim?
Yeah, and outside agencies from other counties, Saunders, Seward, Saline, Gage. I'm probably going to miss somebody because I wasn't there. I was charting at my station on radios what was going on. Pretty humble group of firefighters.
Yeah. Very well said.
So,
Very well said. So
They're the ones.
okay, they are the ones. So please do stand.
I had one thing. Everybody played a major role. Crete's assistant chief helped me out tremendously with taking North Command of the North Division, and without that, I'd have been lost. So I give Crete a lot of credit for this
Well,
too. Everybody,
And
so.
that's a perfect segue. We'll invite Crete to come forward at this time. I know we have representatives here from as well. So thank you, Mr. Skellett, and thank you, Jim.
Good morning.
All right.
My name is James Yost. I'm the Assistant Fire Chief for Crete. I responded out that day, and after talking with Chief Skillett, we sectioned up that fire into a north and a south division because it was so large, and I knew that he was having his hands full with everything on the south half. So I took command of the north, and we communicated throughout that entire call. It did not take very long with this dangerous fire that we had our first firefighter hurt, which was a Southwest rural firefighter that sustained some burns. There's a person, again, all three of these firefighters that were hurt on this incident were friends of mine. And so running command of an incident and having people start to get hurt starts worrying you. You really start to understand the significance of a fire. Never been on an incident where we've had firefighters hurt this severely or this many. So after he was taken care of, then we continued to work, and we have a situation in the fire service called Mayday, and that's when there is a significant problem and somebody needs immediate help. I've never had to declare one before, and that day we did. And thank goodness that there were no fatalities out of it. And we're very happy with the way everybody responded. We had plenty of medical personnel on scene, and he was provided great care. As Sheriff Wagner had indicated, Deputy Brady was right there at the scene, just a chance or whatever it may be, luck. We were able to get our firefighter loaded up and got to an ambulance with advanced life support in a very rapid fashion. So even though Crete is in Saline County, we cover 40 square miles within Lancaster County of the Highland Rural Fire District. We're very proud of the service that we provide to our entire area, and we're always happy to come and help. We've had great work with our Lancaster County departments that we mutual aid with often, and we're always happy to call on them when we need help too. We all know what we're getting in terms of help. So again, just like Chief Skillett said, we couldn't have done it without 24 fire departments being there, and that is something I hope I don't ever see again in my career. Let's just hope for rain. So,
How is that individual doing? Do you know?
yes. So as it's already been put out, his name is Brad Elder. And so Brad started his first of, I don't know how many skin grafts he's going to have yesterday. It sounds like it's going a little rough for him, as we kind of anticipated, but he's in good spirits. And a lot of us had visited with him. We've checked in on him, and he's back to his old self, joking, laughing, good time just to be around. So we're happy to see that. He's going through some stuff, but again, in the end, think that we're going to expect a mostly full recovery for him. So, yep.
I'd like to present to you, this is just a token. This is the proclamation that we have signed. All of you and your coworkers, your volunteer departments, your financial support, your families, your communities that stepped forward last Sunday. And so just a token of our gratitude and certainly our hearts and prayers to you.
If it's all right with the board, I wrote a short statement that I'd like to read if that's okay. Everyone all right with that?
On the afternoon and evening of, excuse me, on the afternoon and evening of October 23rd, Lancaster County was on fire. We faced several wildfires, the largest in memory. Private and public lands burned, farms and homes were lost or damaged, and lives were in danger. Extreme drought, high temperatures, and strong winds created ideal conditions for a true disaster. Amidst all that devastation, I was blessed to witness the very best of this community. From the Lincoln Lancaster County Emergency Operations Center, I had a bird's eye view of the community's response to adversity and danger. And please let me tell all of you how proud and thankful I am to live in a place like this. More than 120 firefighters from at least 24 different fire departments fought the blazes. Our sheriff's deputies managed evacuation efforts to get people to safety. The American Red Cross and the Lincoln Lancaster County Public Health Department established a shelter for evacuees and monitored air quality. The Lancaster County Engineering Department ran tanker trucks of water and cleared brush in order to assist firefighting efforts, while the Salvation Army delivered bottled water through the dark and the smoke to thirsty crews. Our emergency management staff and volunteers offered support, communication, and coordination throughout the evening and behind the scenes. It was an overwhelming and just incredible response from our first responders, and they deserve our deepest gratitude and appreciation. And it wasn't just those who prepare for emergencies every day that met this threat. As Sheriff Wagner has said, farmers jumped into action, tilling land to create fire breaks and clear fuel. We believe that more than 100 firefighters were in their tractors, limiting the spread of fire on that Sunday evening. As one reporter put it the next morning, you had an army. That's exactly what this community delivered in the face of danger, and the situation was brought under control through their assistance and heroism. I'm certainly failing to list others who responded in their own way and deserve appreciation. Please know to everyone who participated in the efforts to fight these fires that we are deeply grateful for everything that they've done. I know I speak on behalf of the entire board here when I tell this incredible community thank you. Thank you for your valor, thank you for your sacrifice, thank you for your volunteerism, and thank you for your commitment to one another. That evening's events were devastating, but this community's strength and spirit are untouched and unmatched. You all showed what Nebraska Strong really means. Thank you very much.
That was very well said.
I've been thinking about it a lot.
You what?
I've been thinking about it a lot.
Yeah, it's very well said, and I can just echo that. There's nothing more that I can say, but thank you to all of you.
Yeah, I just want to acknowledge your families too, that were fearful and dealing with fire in their neighborhood, in their vicinity, as you were all out deployed. I've been that spouse when my husband responded to disasters, wildfires in the Sandhills, extreme weather events, and recognized that they were at home managing the family and the livestock, the pets, and the homes during that time, not knowing whether you'd return or what kind of condition you'd return in. But thank you very much for your service to the community. From where I was at, I was very impressed with how quickly this was brought under control and minimized the loss to the community. Thank you.
Yes, just an honor to have all of you here this morning. Thank you for taking time from your busy schedules to come and let us express our appreciation. We are fortunate enough to live in this great country, in this great county, in this great community, and the reason that it's so great is because that we care so much about one another, and we have a commitment to do what's right during the most difficult of times. You all are living demonstrations of that caring and commitment, and we thank you so much for what you achieved on that day when it could have gone so very much worse than it did. Thank you.
And I appreciate you all being here. I know you took time away from other obligations to come and, I guess, celebrate the response and continue with the recovery. So, again, thank you.
One last time.
One last time. Mr. Clerk.
Next is number 4, consent items. These are routine business items that are expected to be adopted without dissent. Any individual item may be removed for special discussion and consideration by a commissioner. or by any member of the public without prior notice. Unless there's an exception, these items will be approved as one with a single vote of the Board of Commissioners. These items are approval of Amendment to County Contract C-22-662 with Alfred Banish and Company for professional engineering services on the county's ARPA culvert maintenance project. Right-of-way contracts with the following: Kenneth J. Timmerman, North 176th Street and Van Dorn Street, in the amount of $824. Eleanor M. Novotny, Northwest 112th Street and West Agnew Road, in the amount of $271. J. Steve Nordstrom, Revocable Trust, North 98th Street and Rock Creek Road, in a total amount of $1,478. Received and placed on file the County Treasurer's 2020 distress warrants.
Approval of the consent items.
Second.
All right, motion and a second to approve the consent items. Call the roll, please.
Flowerday,
Yes.
Best,
Yes.
Amundson,
Yes.
Yocum,
Yes.
Shore.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0. Next is public hearing, Health Department amendments to various sections and appendices of the Lancaster County, or the Lincoln Lancaster County Air Pollution Control Program regulations and standards.
Good morning.
Good morning, Commissioners. Gary Bergstrom, Air Quality Program Supervisor at the Lincoln Lancaster County Health Department.
We will
Bringing
open
before you
public
today.
hearing and swear you in.
Do solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the truth and nothing but the truth?
I do. So, bringing these amendments for you this morning to basically accomplish three things: to ensure our regulations are consistent with state statute, to ensure they're consistent with state regulations, and to make sure they're consistent with federal regulations. We've adopted some amendments here that essentially bring our federal regulations that we are authorized through the EPA to implement and enforce, making sure that we bring those up to date with changes that have been passed in this last several years, and also to reflect somewhat new occurrence that's happened with the federal regulations, which was the addition of a hazardous air pollutant to the list of regulated HAPs. The first time that's happened, it happened through a petition process to the EPA. It was added and adopted by the EPA, and so we're making sure our local regulations reflect that. All of these changes we're bringing you today have been brought through our Air Pollution Control Advisory Board and also through the Board of Health, and they have both recommended approval to you. I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
Are there any, Gary, any significant changes or anything that's dramatically different than what we previously had?
I would say no, not any real significant changes. I'd say the most significant change in here that will have any sort of impact on the businesses and industries that we work with will be the regulation of the newly listed hazardous air pollutant, which is 1-bromopropane. It's a chemical solvent. We have identified some businesses and industries here in Lancaster County that do use this product. But already, of their own volition, they are transitioning away from it to find less hazardous alternatives. So, which is part of the reason EPA adopts regulations for these types of chemicals.
That's good news, so, yeah. Thank you.
Welcome.
Any other questions? for
I don't. I
Gary?
know you're always going through the regulations to update them, keep them in line with state regs, federal regs. I just appreciate you staying on top of that, and I think your department's doing a great job with it, and yeah, thank you.
And this action will harmonize with what the city has done previously, right? Because,
Right. So, yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
All right. Any other questions for Gary? All right. Thank you very much. Anyone else wishing to provide public testimony on this item? If not, we'll close the public hearing and move on to new business item 6A.
Move approval.
Second.
You want to read the
Yeah,
item
just
into the
read it.
record, Mr. Clerk?
Under new business, 6A is a resolution in a matter of amending Article 1, Section 7, Article 2, Sections 1, 18, 21, 23, 26, 27, 28, and 34, and Appendices 2 and 3 of the Lincoln Lancaster County Air Pollution Control Program regulations and standards.
Now I'll move approval.
And I will still second.
All right. Call the roll, please.
Yocum,
Yes.
Flowerday,
Yes.
Vest,
Yes.
Amundson,
Yes.
Shore.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0. B is a resolution to strike from the tax list certain distress warrants as uncollectible by the county treasurer submitted to the board. And we did receive an amended copy with the year, should be 2021.
Okay. Motion to approve the resolution.
Move approval.
Second.
Yeah. Is there anybody here to speak on this? I just had a quick question. It's not, are these mostly mobile homes? Is that what this is?
Come on up, Rachel.
I just know there's an issue that when a mobile home is moved and there's unpaid property tax to be collected on it, we effectively can't find it, right? It's been an ongoing problem in the past.
This should have been part of what you received?
Yeah, I just,
Okay,
laptop's
then
closed, I just don't have it in front of me.
the 2/3 of it is mobile homes.
But I thought, okay.
And 1/3 of it is property taxes, which were, one was unable to locate, one was deceased, and the rest were dissolved corporations.
Okay.
Thank you. I
Appreciate it.
still move approval.
All right. Is there a second?
Second.
All right. Call the roll, please.
Amundson,
Yes.
Yocum,
Yes.
Flowerday,
Yes.
Vest,
Yes.
Shore.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0.
Thank you.
6C is a proclamation in recognition and honor of the local first responders and everyday citizens who selflessly heeded the call to service on October 23rd, 2022.
Already presented the proclamation, so we better vote to
I would
do so.
move approval then.
Second.
All right. Call the roll, please.
Vest,
Yes.
Amundson,
Yes.
Yocum,
Yes.
Flowerday,
Yes.
Shore.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0. D is designation of Sharon Mulder as county purchasing agent effective October 15, 2022.
Good morning. I just wanted to introduce myself, Sharon Mulder.
I'm not sure an introduction is necessary, but we do appreciate you being here.
Yeah.
And appreciate you stepping into this role. Just looking across the room with our elected officials and department directors, you touch every single aspect of county government. So we appreciate the continuing relationship we will have. So
Thank you very much.
Move approval.
Second.
call the roll, please.
Flowerday,
Yes.
Vest,
Can't thank you enough, Sharon, for taking this on. I vote yes.
Amundson,
Yes.
Yocum,
Yes.
Shore.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0. 6E is a space rental agreement with the Lincoln Firefighters Reception Hall in conjunction with the July 2023 in-person property evaluation protest that cost the county is $500 per day of use.
Any questions? Leslie, have any comments?
There we go.
I guess the question would be, how many days are we going to be renting?
Good morning. This rental agreement is for, as you said, this coming summer's property protest during the form evaluation process. The only thing that changed from last year are the dates, which are mid-July.
Are you thinking a week, less?
Kind of depends on how those protests are filed. The filing date, plug here, June 1st through June 30th. And we won't know until all of those are filed. And for those who do file, who chooses to have an in-person hearing.
And the key is to file early.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
I would move approval. Oh, then I will second.
Call roll, please.
Yocum,
Yes.
Flowerday,
Yes.
Vest,
Yes.
Amundson,
Yes.
Shore.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0. F is Nebraska Emergency Management Agency 2022 subrecipient agreement for Lancaster County in the amount of $134,979.38 as part of the 2022 Emergency Management Performance Grant for the period of July 1st, 2022 to June 30th, 2023.
Good morning, Jim David, Saber Director, Lincoln Lancaster County Emergency Management. This is the annual process that we go through. Emergency Management Performance Grant, EMPG, is federal money from the Department of Homeland Security that's administered by the state at the local level, and that $135,000 total represents nearly 50% of the salaries and benefits of our paid emergency management staff. I will be back next week with an EMPG ARPA grant notice that covers operating expenses. So it's a 50% match, and just starting last year is when they segregated EMPG and EMPG ARPA. So it's always good news because it's money coming in, but until we receive further notice, this is the way that it will operate. And this current grant, we've already closed out the first quarter. It started with our fiscal year July 1. So again, it's just a question of that money is available. We're just following the proper procedure to apply and make ourselves as eligible as we can be. So as I said, it represents nearly that 50% match, and that's the most that we're eligible for.
Great work, Jim. As always, I move approval.
Second.
Call the roll, please.
Amundson,
Yes.
Yocum,
Yes.
Flowerday,
Yes.
Best,
Yes.
Shore.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0. G is a grant request from the Lancaster County Sheriff's Department for an $8,000 grant from the Nebraska Department of Transportation Highway Safety Office to further efforts of the Buckle Up Every Trip, Every Time mobilization.
Good morning, Captain Tommy Trotter with the Sheriff's Office. This is one of those grants we do several times a year. We get reimbursed by the Office of Highway Safety. This one is specifically about seatbelt enforcement over the holiday weekend of Thanksgiving, one of the most traveled holidays of the year.
Such a simple but important act that drivers should be taking.
Absolutely, and part of it is we want to increase education about it too. So we advertise it up front so people know that we're going to be taking enforcement actions over the weekend.
Adds great value, doesn't it? Just getting people thinking about it. Yeah. I move approval.
Second.
All right, call the roll, please.
Vest,
Yes.
Amundson,
Yes.
Yocum,
Yes.
Flowerday,
Yes.
Shore.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0.
Thank you for being here, Tommy.
6H is a grant contract with the Board of Regents of the University of Nebraska on behalf of the University of Nebraska's Lincoln's Repertory Theater to promote Shakespeare at the Haunted Temple. The county will reimburse promotional costs in an amount not to exceed $5,000 from the Visitors Promotion Fund.
Anybody go to this? I did.
I wanted to.
It was great. It was just great. The drama kids did an amazing job on this. I shouldn't call them drama kids. That's just what we called ourselves in high school. The thespians did an excellent job putting this together. Kate's nieces loved it. So
Move approval.
Second.
Call the roll, please.
Flowerday,
yes.
Vest,
Yes.
Amundson,
Yes.
Yocum,
Yes.
Shore.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0.
Good to know those visitor promotion funds are going to good use.
It was packed too. It was great.
Item I, please.
6I is a grant contract with the Celebrate Nebraska Statehood, Inc., doing business as Nebraska Impact to promote the Nebraska Capital Art Experience. The county will reimburse promotional costs in an amount not to exceed $5,000 from the Visitors Promotion Fund.
Move approval.
Second.
Anybody here to talk on this?
This is a VPC grant?
It is a VPC
Do you
grant,
remember
yeah.
what it's?
Well, the statehood, actually occurs in March, and so it's a huge celebration for that.
All right, call the roll, please.
Yocum,
Yes.
Flowerday,
Yes.
Vest,
Yes.
Amundson,
Yes.
Shore.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0. J is a contract with Kingery Construction Company to provide veteran service VA hospital renovations. The cost of county is not to exceed $380,880.
Good morning, Commissioners. Karen Peterson, Facilities and Properties Director. This probably looks really familiar to you because on or about the 4th, you signed this, signaling the notice to proceed. Purchasing, as a part of one of their routine practices, pulls contracts and does audits. And they did an internal audit of this and discovered that the insurance requirements were not quite adequate. In fact, builder's risk was omitted. So this contract, builder's risk, is in there in a line item you can barely read with glasses, but it's $5 million worth of builder's risk. So it's now been included in the contract, so I'm asking for your signature, and we are already rolling. So.
All right, very good. So move approval.
Second.
All right, motion is second to approve the this contract amendment. I don't know. Call the roll, please.
Amundson,
Yes.
Yocum,
Yes.
Flowerday,
Yes.
Vest,
Yes.
Shore.
I will abstain.
Motion carries 4 yes, 1 abstention. K is a recommendation from the purchasing agent and county engineer to award and execute purchase orders to Gene Steffi Chrysler Center, Inc. for 2023 or newer Dodge Ram half-ton crew cab pickups as follows: 2 pickups in the total amount of $94,278 and 3 pickups in the total amount of $132,996.
Pictures.
Good morning. Ron Bovati with Lancaster County Engineering. And I guess all these vehicles that I'll have pictures of here, they are going to be going to auction. And I just wanted to make sure that you realize they're often repurposed several times in our department before we send them to auction. And the average price of the truck from the last year's purchase did go up, an average of $12,000 a truck. These are off the state contract.
What do you do with vehicles like this, Ron? What's their role?
So primarily, these 2 Suburbans that we just showed you were originally the survey crews vehicles. We replaced those with 1-tons with the toolboxes on the back about 6 years ago. Since then, we repurposed them as maintenance vehicles to haul tools around. Now they're being used in the districts, but you can't really haul barricades or gas-powered equipment very safely in them, and they're pretty high mileage, and it's just time for them to go down the road. They do have, each of them have a list of repairs for them that could be completed, but we kind of hold off on some of it because of the cost.
Yeah.
So 3 will be going to auction, or all 5?
All 5.
All 5.
One more here. And then one final one.
And there's no use anywhere else in county government for these vehicles?
It is possible they could be, at the point where we put the list out and then it goes to purchasing, the other agencies can look and see if they're.
BBC's waving.
I see this activity over in the corner of my eye, so.
And then we try to offer them our advice on whether we think the vehicle is something, depending on their use.
Okay.
Some of these with 180,000 miles, we've already kind of, they're probably not something we want to use daily.
So,
and then
go ahead.
We actually have 7 vehicles that could go, and 5 that we're getting in. So kind of depending on what happens between now and the time the vehicles come in, we'll figure out which ones go. And if another department happens to acquire a couple of the vehicles, then we still have others that would replace it on the auction.
Okay. And all 5 of these that are under the state contract were all in the budget.
And that one's actually already sitting on auction row. We didn't anticipate it. The engine went out about 2 months ago.
You can sell it without an engine?
Yes.
Somebody will.
Somebody will buy it.
Oh,
We're able to use several auction houses, or Purple is one of them that's on there. And yes, with the lack of vehicles on new lots and things like that, we're at a really good standing because we can get rid of some of these that obviously we can't, doesn't make any sense to make any money in it, but they bring not a lot, but they bring a decent price, more than they would when there was adequate vehicles on the lot.
the last one with the bad engine still went for $1,800. So I mean, it's amazing what they'll pay for them on the auction.
Must have had good bones.
Okay. So you're estimating it's going to be several months before these come in?
They're estimating 120 days
Okay.
to 150 days, and of course, there's a little statement at the bottom of the contract that says that depending on supply and demand, that could change. I would say if we get them in 6 months, we're probably lucky. I hope sooner.
I will move approval.
Okay, motion second to approve the purchase, knowing that up to 7 vehicles could go to auction if they aren't needed by county department. So, all right. Call the roll, please.
Vest,
Yes.
Amundson,
Yes.
Yocum,
Yes.
Flowerday,
Yes.
Shore.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0. L is a recommendation from the purchasing agent and county engineer to award and execute purchase orders for supplying and hauling of gravel surface course material as follows: R.L. Tiemann Construction in amount of $417,565. Buell Trucking, Inc. in the amount of $135,000.
Ron Bohati, Lancaster County Engineering, and this is our gravel bid for this part of the year. It is considerably higher than the last bid as well, and but it is in our budget.
Move approval. We need that out in the county.
Second.
All right, call the roll, please.
Flowerday,
Yes.
Vest,
Yes.
Amundson,
Yes.
Yocum,
Yes.
Shore.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0. M is authorizing and directing the county clerk's office to correct nunc-pro-tunc an error in resolution R-22-100 by adding as of January 1st, 2023 at the end of section 6 of the resolution.
I move approval.
Second.
All right, motion is second. Call the roll.
Yocum,
Yes.
Flowerday,
Yes.
Vest,
Yes.
Amundson,
Yes.
Shore.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0. Next is number 7, public comment. Those wishing to speak on items relating to county business not on agenda may do so at this time.
I know we have some visitors here. Is there anyone wishing to speak on behalf of the group and tell us who's here and why? Good morning.
Good morning. I'm Arlene Ray. I'm with Friendship Force of Lincoln, and we are hosting 11 young people from Kyrgyzstan, which is in Central Asia, and they are here because of the State Department sponsoring them because they were to be here in 2020 as exchange students for 10 months in the United States. Well, you know what happened. COVID hit. Right. And so, as a result, these young people still wanted to come to the United States. So the State Department is giving them 2 weeks to be here. 1 week they spent in Washington, and then the other week they are spending somewhere in the United States. Lincoln happened to be very fortunate to have these young people stay with us. So they are staying with other people from our club in their homes, and we have a different activity for them every day. Today's day is Government Day, so we are so thankful that you allowed us to come, and we will be meeting with you later. And then we are also meeting with the couple city council members so they have an idea of that. And then later in the afternoon, we're going to the state capitol, and we'll be meeting people of importance there too. And so we've also doing a volunteer day, and we've done some education days, and so we've had a good time so far. They came on Saturday, and here it is already Tuesday. So the young people are back here.
All right. Well, welcome.
Yeah,
we look forward to speaking with you. Thank you, Arlene. All right, if you continue with the announcements, please.
The Lancaster County Board of Commissioners will hold a staff meeting on Thursday, November 3rd, 2022 at 8:30 a.m. in room 112 of the County City Building. The Lancaster County Board of Commissioners will hold its next regular meeting on Tuesday, November 8th, 2022 at 9 a.m. in room 112 of the County City Building. The Lancaster County Board of Commissioners will hold a public hearing regarding the vacation of the east-west alley between Lincoln Street and Shower Street, Block 8, Cheney, Nebraska, on Tuesday, November 8th, 2022, at 9 a.m. in room 112 of the County City Building. The Lancaster County Board of Commissioners will hold a public hearing regarding the vacation of the right-of-way of Southwest 86th Street between West Saltillo Road and West Bennett Road in Lancaster County on Tuesday, November 15th, 2022, at 9 a.m. in room 112 of the County City Building. County Commissioners can be reached at 402-441-7447 or commish@lancaster.ne.gov. The Lancaster County Board of Commissioners meeting is broadcast live on Link TV. Link TV is available on Allo Channel 2 and Spectrum Channel 1300. For the rebroadcast schedule, visit lincoln.ne.gov. Meetings are also streamed live on YouTube and Facebook. And Link TV apps are also available on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire TV.
Move we adjourn.
Second.
All right, motion and second to adjourn. Call the roll, please.
Amundson?
Yes.
Yocum?
Yes.
Flowerday?
Yes.
Vest?
Yes.
Shore.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0.
All right, we will now call to order the Lancaster County Board of Equalization for Tuesday, November 1st. Mr. Clerk.
A copy of the Nebraska Open Meetings Act is located on the wall at the rear of the hearing room. Additionally, all written material to be discussed at today's open meeting is available for electronic viewing from the county clerk's staff. Printing options are available upon request. The material can also be viewed on the county's website at lancaster.nd.gov. Agenda item 1 are minutes. Approval of the minutes of the Board of Equalization meeting held on Tuesday, October 18th, 2022.
Move approval.
Second?
All right, motion is second to approve the minutes. Call the roll, please.
Flowerday,
Yes.
Vest,
Yes.
Amundson,
Yes.
Yocum,
Yes.
Shore.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0. Number 2 is a public hearing. This is for motor vehicle tax exemption applications. This includes Christian Record Services, Inc., the American Legion, Lincoln Cats Youth Group, Parkview Christian School, Nebraska Crop Improvement Association, Hope Spoke, St. Paul United Methodist Church, and School Sisters of Christ the King.
All right, we will open the public hearing on the motor vehicle tax exemption applications. Is there anyone wishing to make public comment? Seeing none, we will close the public hearing and move on to action item 3.
This is number 3, motor vehicle tax exemption applications.
Move approval of the motor vehicle tax exemption applications.
Okay, call the roll, please.
Yocum,
Yes.
Flowerday,
Yes.
Vest,
Yes.
Amundson,
Yes.
Shore.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0. Number 4 is public comment. Those wishing to speak on items relating to County Board of Equalization business not on the agenda may do so at this time.
Is there anyone wishing to make public comment? If not, is there a motion to adjourn?
Move that we adjourn.
Second.
Motion is second to adjourn. Call the roll.
Amundson,
Yes.
Yocum,
Yes.
Flowerday,
Yes.
Vest,
Yes.
Shore.
Yes,
Motion carries 5-0.
we are adjourned.